Hey guys, it's Jen, and this is week 4 in the self care series. And today I'm going to be talking about the little thoughts that are behind why we're not taking care of ourselves. Now, okay, thoughts kind of don't get their proper cred because they seem like pretty innocuous and like they're just kind of a side note, right? But I want to argue that they are everything. So here's how the order goes. Something happens, we have a thought about it, then we have a feeling about it, then we will act based on that feeling, and our results will come from the actions. And then it will go back around, and that result will reinforce the original thought. And so we need to be very careful. We are used to thinking that the reason we feel something is because of what happened. So let's say I have a kid that yells and screams, and I'm thinking the reason I'm upset is because of the screaming kid. That's actually not true. I don't have to be upset about a screaming kid. When it gets upsetting is my thought that's attached to it. If my thought that is attached to it is he doesn't respect me, or I'm not teaching him well enough, or he's going to be ruined for life, I'm screwing my kid up, like those are going to be upsetting thoughts that are going to cause upset feelings, right? Or I can choose to think something different about a screaming kid. I can say he is having such a hard day. In my mind, that could be my thought. This is indicating that he's super tired, or he's going through something, or he needs something. And it will bring a different feeling, one that's more centered on compassion and understanding, right? The kid's behavior didn't change. That is what Brooke Castillo, I love Brooke Castillo, she calls a circumstance. And it's neither positive or negative, it just is. It doesn't become positive or negative until we assign a thought to it. Okay, so that's why thoughts are so important in self care. Because if we are thinking thoughts about ourselves, thoughts about service, thoughts about wants and desires and needs that do not line up with taking care of ourselves, we are going to find it extremely difficult to take care of ourselves. Once we can change those thoughts and align them with a feeling and an action that has to do with self care, then it's going to come naturally. Much more naturally. It won't be so hard. And so if we're feeling guilt when we're serving or saying yes, it's because there is a thought attached to it. If we're feeling resentment at getting to the end of the day and not having done a single thing that is fun, then that is attached to a thought. If we're feeling frustrated, anything that you can think of, there's a thought behind it. And if we can look at it, then we can really examine it and see if we can change it to something that serves us. And also listen to the message that it has to be sent. I've always said that resentment is an excellent alarm for crossing boundaries. And so resentment can also have a message in it that if we allow it and listen to it, rather than pushing it away, saying, then we can actually be aware and say, yeah, is there a boundaries being crossed right here? Resentment is the perfect alarm bell for boundaries being crossed. Okay, that's for another day though. Here are some examples of thoughts that are underneath some of the reasons we don't care for ourselves. Desires or receiving pleasure is less righteous than self-deprivation. Now, we may have never said these thoughts out loud, but they may still feel true. All right? I'm going to tell you right now that isn't true, but if you've thought it over and over enough to create a belief, then it will feel true. Okay. All right, another one, desires are something to be overcome. Desires can't be trusted. Desires lead you to do wrong. If I give in to my wants, desires, needs, then I'm going to lose control. Or if I'm weak, it means that I'm weak if I give in to emotions. We need to keep our needs and desires in check. Otherwise, we'll need someone else outside of ourselves, and needing feels scary. This is fear creating anti-dependence rather than independence. Self-deprivation is what it is like to be good. Desirable women are selfless, desireless, and put others first. Offering and yielding when others want something is an expression of goodness and proving my goodness. I should be reflexively serving and happy when I'm doing it. If I serve, I'll get a reward. And the ideal woman doesn't say no. Now these are really common thoughts, and they are just intertwined in our cultures, in the air we breathe, and the words that we speak. And so they are things that have kind of gotten a backstage pass, where we've seen them so many times we quit even looking for ID. And so these are thoughts that it won't feel natural to challenge unless you're aware of them and starting to realize how they're actually affecting you. If these thoughts are keeping you from caring for yourselves and offering yourself love and compassion and goodness, then it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard. But if you can see them, then you can change them. But the reason these are so important is because I know moms who have been tortured by themselves. And like I know moms who have imagined throwing themselves out of a moving car to escape the things that are being told to them by their kids, just because of kids, things kids say, they didn't get something they want or whatever, so they're shouting things at their mother. But the problem is that the things that they're shouting outside of her are also the things that are being said inside of her head. And so it just validates it and creates it in cement, like it must be true, because now I'm hearing it from outside and inside. I know moms who have cried out in absolute agony that their kids would be better off without them, that they're ruining them, that they're horrible, and she honestly believes it. I know moms who hear things like, "You're disgusting, you're a pig, you don't deserve that. You're not worthy of that. You aren't enough. You're not good enough. You should know better and you should do better." And the words that she's hearing are coming from her very own mind. I know moms who stay up all night with kids, sick kids, or out of worry, or just because they can't sleep, and the first thing they hear in the morning when they wake up is one more thing that they didn't get done. And she feels defeated. And then she still keeps going. I know moms who have beat themselves up mentally and physically and emotionally and spiritually because of these thoughts that are going on inside their heads. This mom was me. I've been in each one of those situations, and I'll do anything to help you recognize the thoughts that are going on in your mind are not true. If there's anything that I can do, if you've noticed that you've got thoughts that are keeping you from taking care of yourselves, then please give me a call so that we can talk through them together. I know what it's like, and I know how important it is to be able to challenge those, and then how empowering it is to create new ones and show up knowing that you're 100% valuable, 100% good, 100% worthy and deserving, no matter what anyone else outside is saying. Because that's what it's like to have a strong sense of self. And in order to be able to open yourself completely to the love of other people and the love of yourself, you've got to have that strong sense inside you. So, if you know anyone that needs this message, will you please share? If you need help, please give me a call.